The Daddy Letters series. Season 3. Letter 65. Time is an asset.
You've got to be kidding me. Shucks, I need to reboot. Again. Dear Boaz and Ruth, Abraham asked me to write this letter for the familial board because it is an area I have spent a lot of time learning about. In this counseling letter, we will continue to provide insight into how to manage the assets of your home, which is a small business. We already dealt with the obvious asset of money and wealth, but in this letter, we want to draw your attention to a very important and perishable asset, and that is time. Every business must reckon with the management of time. Time to produce a product, provide a service, train employees, attend meetings, and the exhaustive list of time management requirements continues. Successful businesses and their employees manage this valuable asset expertly. But let's delve into the chemistry of time, one of God's most remarkable inventions, before we talk about how you should manage it. What is time? Time is a measure of limited existence, whereas eternity is unmeasured and unlimited existence. God is an eternal being who always was, is, and always will be. Time is neither a constraint nor a motivator for God in his activities. 2 Peter 3 verse 8 reveals God's sovereignty over time, and it reads, "But do not overlook this one fact, beloved, that with the Lord 1 day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as 1 day." We humans find this truth frustrating because for us, life is short and we measure it in minutes, if not seconds. 1,000 years is inconceivable, and we find it difficult sometimes to find harmony with a God who plays the long game, when only the short game is available to us. For example, it was 400 years before God delivered Israel from Egyptian bondage. For God, the 400 years was as half a day. We are frustrated that often we do not live long enough to see or enjoy the fruit of our labors. But we are to labor still, because we should approach the world through God's view of it, and play our part in time, preparing our souls for eternity. Wikipedia provides some scientific insights into the complex notion of time, an asset we easily take for granted. Time is the continuous progression of existence that occurs in an apparently irreversible succession from the past, through the present, and into the future. It is a component quantity of various measurements used to sequence events, to compare the duration of events or the intervals between them, and to quantify rates of change of quantities in material reality or in the conscious experience. Time is often referred to as a fourth dimension, along with 3 spatial dimensions. Time is one of the 7 fundamental physical quantities in both the International System of Units, or SI, and International System of Quantities. The SI base unit of time is the second, which is defined by measuring the electronic transition frequency of cesium metal atoms. The general relativity theories of Albert Einstein is the primary framework for understanding how spacetime works. But we won't go that deep here. We only mention this scientific view to reveal the complexity of the thing we take for granted, and that is time. Through advances in both theoretical and experimental investigations of spacetime, it has been shown that time can be distorted and dilated, particularly at the edges of black holes. Throughout history, time has been an important subject of study in philosophy and science. Temporal measurement, which refers to calendars and clocks, has occupied scientists and technologists, and has been a prime motivation in navigation and astronomy. Time is also of significant social importance, having economic value as well as personal value due to limited supply of it in a person's day and a human lifespan. Time is also the object of several major fields of study: archaeology, chronology, history, horology, metrology, paleontology, and futurology. Time is the object of several philosophical views as well: presentism, eternalism, event, and fatalism. Presentism is the view of time which states that only present entities exist, and what is present changes as time passes. According to presentism, there are no past or future entities at all, though some entities have existed and other entities will exist. In a sense, the past and the future do not exist for presentists. Eternalism is an approach to the ontological nature of time, which takes the view that all existence in time is equally real, as opposed to presentism, or the growing block universe theory of time, in which at least the future is not the same as any other time. In philosophy, events are objects in time or instantiations of properties in objects. On some views, only changes in the form of acquiring or losing a property can constitute events, like the lawns becoming dry. According to others, there are also events that involve nothing but the retaining of a property. For example, the lawns staying wet. Events are usually defined as particulars that, unlike universals, cannot repeat at different times. Processes are complex events constituted by a sequence of events. Fatalism is a belief and philosophical doctrine which considers the entire universe as a deterministic system, meaning everything that has and will occur in the system, based on the physical outcomes of causality. The belief stresses the subjugation of all events, actions, and behaviors to fate or destiny, which is commonly associated with the consequent attitude of resignation in the face of future events, which are thought to be inevitable and outside of human control. Okay, enough of the science. We provide you this rather heady definition of time only to draw you into wonder and awe of our Creator. It is so easy to fail to see the wonder and complexity in God's common inventions. But this scientific definition is not necessary for our counsel to you regarding your responsibility to properly manage this perishable asset. God exists outside of time, but reaches into a universe He created to interact with beings governed by time and decay. Our lifetimes are measured from birth to the grave, an average lifetime spanning 70 years. Those 70 years of existence is a most valuable asset God bestows upon us, for in those years we have an opportunity to seek out a relationship with the timeless God, and produce fruit that He will inspect, to determine our place when we leave time, and join Him in eternity. Time is not to be wasted. A moment gone is a moment to never be experienced again. A life wasted cannot be relived. A moment spent in sadness cannot be resurrected as a moment of joy. A time spent in hate cannot be reincarnated as a time of love. A time spent in sloth cannot be converted into a wage earned. Time is money, or so the cliché claims, and it is true. Your employer exchanges an hour of your labor for a monetary fee. A 2-hour concert nets the performers a $50,000 engagement fee. A lawyer will assist you with legal matters for an hourly fee. A top-tier business consultant will help you with your strategic plan for $400 an hour. A U.S. savings bond increases in value over time. Compound interest turns a $10,000 investment into $100,000 over time. 4 years spent earning a college degree might increase your earning potential by 25%. We hope you understand that just like your money, time is a most valuable asset over which God makes us stewards. We are to manage and spend money well, but we are also expected to spend time well. Yes, time is very valuable. And unfortunately the wealth of time newlyweds begin with can easily be wasted if the importance of it is not understood, and the volume of it is not properly managed. Basically, a couple should spend their time to purchase eternity, an eternity of far greater value than the time invested. But not only that, but like a good stock portfolio, there are dividends to be derived in this life also. Dividends of joy, peace, health, fulfillment. Yes, couples can together invest in a better life on earth, as explained in Galatians 5 verses 22 through 24 that reads, "The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. And those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires." Couples who actively engage in time management will enjoy better personal growth, health and emotional stability, strong bonds in marriages, strong families, financial growth, and God's good favor. It is not our purpose in this counseling letter to teach you detailed time management skills. Good books are numerous on the subject, and there is tremendous overlap in the techniques they teach. What your familial board hopes to do is impress upon you the importance of time management and provide a few basic principles and practices for you to build upon. We encourage you to seek out good books or courses on the subject and study them together. There are several categories of time that you must think clearly about and determine how to invest in them. Category 1 is time with God. This is the time you spend individually and as a couple in solitude. Prayer, meditation, and contemplation with God. Category 2 is time you spend with the church. This includes Sunday worship services, midweek Bible studies, and other events sponsored by your church family. Category 3 is time you spend as a couple. This includes shared hobbies, alone time for cuddling or conversation, and a date night. Going out to dinner with friends or children is not truly couple time. You need this alone together time to keep your bond strong, lines of communication open, and your connection adjusting to the changes that come with various seasons and events of life. Category 4 is time in self-care. Self-care is not selfish. The greatest gift you can give your mate, your children, your friends, and God is a spiritually sound, mentally healthy, intellectually stimulated, and physically vibrant self. And it takes time to properly minister to yourself in these ways. It is also the easiest activity to rob of appropriate time because of the demands of marriage, children, church, career, family, and friends. You are a biological machine, and it is vital you keep your batteries charged so you can meet the needs of others without running down or burning out. Burnout is a real problem in modern life, and most people will be faced with it at some point in their lives. Therefore, it is good to learn the signs of burnout so you can guard each other against it. This is important because usually the person who is burning out is the last to notice. A loving couple should take on the role of guardians of each other's well-being and sound the alarm when their partner is dangerously overextended and drained. If allowed to get out of control, serious burnout can be very difficult to come back from. There are records of burnout where the person can hardly get out of bed for a year or more. Category 5 is career management, or simply put, the time you spend at work. Different jobs have different demands, and often those demands are greater than possible for a person to meet. For example, cardiac surgeons can disappear into the bowels of the hospital for days, without emerging for communion with family and friends. Airline pilots also have demanding schedules. Balancing career time with family time can be extraordinarily difficult when there are two demanding careers in one family. Similarly, if there is only one breadwinner, that person can easily become overcommitted to working overtime, a second job, or aggressively pursuing career progression to satisfy the financial needs of the family. And even though the person's absence is for a good cause, the relationship can still be strained, and the marital bond suffer damage. Category 6 is home management time, which includes paying the bills, mowing the lawn, painting the fence, trimming the hedges, home repairs and maintenance, taking out the garbage, washing the cars, and so on. It has been said that you don't own a home owns you. That is because it takes a lot of time to keep a home well-maintained, functioning, and a welcoming place for family members and guests. Category 7 is family time, which includes time spent with the children teaching, changing diapers, playing games, and sharing entertainment. As children get older, they can have demanding schedules related to school and various sports activities, and these demands can often overshadow any other time for the couple or family. Everyone knows the cliché of the soccer mom who spends her evenings taking kids to soccer practice, and all day Saturday traveling sometimes long distances to games and tournaments. In some families, weekends are spent with the husband taking one kid to one sporting event, while the wife takes a different kid to another one. It is easy to see how intimacy is threatened in this scenario. Category 8 is time with extended family and friends. Time is the soil from which relationships grow, and some time must be invested if we want to maintain close ties with extended family and friends. Depending upon the season the couple is in, this can be a very difficult challenge. Solid tools are necessary to manage the perishable asset of time in such a way that our lives flourish and our spirits blossom. There are lots of books on time management, and we suggest you two spend some quality time together reading one or more and coming to agreement which time management tools are right for you as a couple. To get you started, we have provided some basics for you here. Time management tools help you consciously plan and control time spent on specific tasks or activities so that you meet specific goals. Create balance in the diversity of life activities so that important goals don't go unmet. For example, the goal of staying in shape requires an allocation of time for workouts and exercise. Setting deadlines, writing to-do lists, and prioritizing activities motivates us to do the things we have to do in order to do the things we want to do. Developing good routines and habits for managing your time starts with learning about the tools available and then testing them in your life. Good time management generates health and wealth. It helps you lead a balanced lifestyle that provides the following benefits: reducing stress, increasing energy, higher productivity, accomplishing what's important, accomplishing more in less time, reducing procrastination and wasting time, boosting confidence, getting further in your career, increasing wealth, increasing health, improving your relationships, getting closer to God, and maturing spiritually, to name a few. One tool is the time audit. Start by assessing where you actually spend your time. Ask yourself these questions: does everything you need to do get done? Which tasks require the most time? What time of day are you most productive? Where is most of your time devoted? Create a graph of approximate hours you spend on work, studies, housework and chores, commuting, social media, and leisure activities. Then, you can drill in and uncover time wasters that need to be eliminated, such as watching too much television. Pray over your list and ask the Holy Spirit to help you to set priorities that lead to a balanced Christian life, and then set time limits on the tasks you didn't eliminate. One of the toughest areas to manage will be your job. Employers are relentless in their quest for your time and the time required to advance. You will have to think hard about where to set boundaries. For example, maybe you will have to decide it will take you 4 years instead of 2 to earn a promotion. Prioritization can free up time for what's most important to you, like spending more time with friends and family or personal Bible study. A tool to help you with prioritization is the Eisenhower Matrix. It helps you distinguish between tasks that are important, not important, urgent, and not urgent. The matrix has 4 boxes, or quadrants, into which you can split your tasks to prioritize what you should focus on first. You can also decide which tasks you will either do, defer, delegate, or delete. Quadrant 1 is where you list what is important and urgent. Do these tasks first. These are the priorities that are most relevant to your goals in the day, week, or your life. Quadrant 2 is where you list tasks that are important but not urgent. These may be deferred for later in your schedule. Quadrant 3 are tasks that are urgent but not important. Delegate these to others if possible, especially if they do not contribute to your long-term goals. Quadrant 4 is where you list what is not important and not urgent. Delete these tasks or do them when you have free time because they are distractions from your priorities. A tool for getting through long tasks effectively is the Pomodoro method. This method helps you make big projects and goals less daunting and reduces procrastination while promoting more productivity. The Pomodoro method requires using a timer to break down your work into 25-minute intervals, separated by 5 minutes of break time. After 4 Pomodoro, you may take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. Pomodoro promotes concentration and relieves mental fatigue. Multitasking is generally less efficient than focusing on one task at a time. In fact, one study found that only 2.5% of people are able to multitask effectively. Doing too many things at once can impact your cognitive ability, making you feel unproductive or dissatisfied with your progress. Arranging your time so that you complete one task before starting another can boost your confidence. Set your short and long-term goals. Once you have established your goals, prioritize them in order of importance. Make sure your goals are SMART, an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. What will it take to achieve them? How can you manage your time to maximize your productivity? Reassess your time management effectiveness monthly and adjust as needed. What's working? What's not working? Adjust your strategy and plans to make them more effective. Practicing time management is an ongoing process because life happens and constantly interrupts our plans and priorities. Creating a to-do list is a must to reduce stress and avoid missing something important. Plus, checking items off your to-do list is encouraging and motivating. Whether you need a daily, weekly, monthly, or all of the above lists depends on your lifestyle. Be careful to keep list making from getting out of control. List manageable tasks rather than goals or multi-step plans. Rank the items on your to-do list in order of priority. Stop procrastinating. People put off tasks for a variety of reasons. Perhaps the task seems overwhelming or unpleasant. To help stop procrastination, consider eating the big frog first. A quote commonly attributed to Mark Twain says, "If it's your job to eat a frog today, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the big frog first." Unpleasant tasks we procrastinate completing are big frogs. Get organized. Disorganization leads to poor time management. Research has shown that clutter has a strong negative impact on perceived well-being. To improve your time management, get organized. Set up 3 areas or containers labeled Keep, Give Away, and Toss. Sort items into these areas. Discard items in your toss box. Get rid of your giveaway items as soon as possible to avoid never getting around to it. Organize storage areas for your keep items. Turn off notifications for email. Immediately delete or unsubscribe from junk emails. Keep address books up to date and organized. Utilize built-in shortcuts to sort email. The care and attention you give yourself is an important investment of time. Scheduling time to relax or do nothing helps you rejuvenate physically and mentally, enabling you to accomplish tasks more quickly and easily. To improve your digital well-being, set time limits or utilizing built-in software on electronic devices such as phones and tablets to help maintain your digital wellness. Blue light blockers and grayscale mode may also help you improve your digital well-being. Set a time each night to shut off all digital devices to give your mind time to relax. This can also help improve your sleep schedule. Poor time management and too much screen time can result in fatigue, moodiness, and more frequent illness. We provided these time management tips to prime your pump and help you see how important this activity is to help you steward one of the greatest assets we manage. Our advice is keep it simple, but stick to whatever plan and tools you come up with, being prepared to adjust as you go. Relationships sprout from time spent in communion with one another, so don't forget how important time is to your relationship with each other, God, your children when you have them, extended family, and friends. Steward each moment like the precious jewel that it is. May time serve you, and not you it. Your familial board. Bye now.